Hey, beauties. So I was asked after sharing a bit about celebrating me and my husband's 12th year anniversary on the spring equinox if there's any relationship hacks for that kind of longevity. Mind you, there's still a lot of people that have way more experience than us. So this is just me from this lived experience of 12 years with three kids, ranging from 7.5 months to 11 years old with the same partner. So, one of the things that is imperative to the health of our relationship starts with our morning practice, which I'll get into after. And the piece that's we do every year that I'll share right now is our vows, our renewing of our vows, and our tracking of the year, the previous year of being in a relationship together. So this is a practice that we do every anniversary. We have two books and we bring them wherever our date is happening. And so the first book is all about recapping the year ahead, and we've kind of started to lump each kind of characteristics or what do you call it, like themes in our life. So we've got community, earth, like connection to the earth, romance, health. There's a few more I'm forgetting out the top of my head. And so together we'll be sitting down and we'll just write down, okay, what happened in the last year in these different areas. And so it is a great way of kind of just doing like a broad streak over your life and realizing that those are also variables that are going to put pressure on your relationship or are able to be celebrated because, as you've done to collectively. And so it's a great way of just noticing all that you've navigated together. And I think it's easy to just focus on, well, how do I feel with my partner today? And it's more than that. It's like getting to celebrate all that you've created together is really important. So all you've created and all the like challenges and upheavals and so that's the first book. We do that first. And then the second book is our vows. And so every year we renew our vows and we omit vows and we put new vows in and we make it current and alive and fresh and exciting. And how we've been doing it is that we'll go to the previous year and we'll just kind of take from it, like, okay, how about we have them kind of categorized in numbers. We like number one. All right, how does this agreement that we have towards each other still feel? Does it feel relevant? Yes, no? Is it like edgy or stretchy? Did we totally fail last year with this one, but we want to keep it into this year to kind of give us something to work towards? Sure, maybe we want to tweak it. Maybe we want to add a little accent to it, make it a little harder if it was really easy to do. And so then we just rewrite each of those vows until we feel complete. And there's a few vows that just keep getting shuffled over because they're like, all right, we can stand by that another year. Um, and that's just kind of the foundation of how we start our next year of marriage together. And that's been really fun. And then the other question I had people ask all the time is like, well, what about this tea ceremony they do? Or how do you create space towards each other? And so, in a nutshell, we have a beautiful ceremony that we do every morning that we are together and capable of drinking tea. And what I mean by capable is like the only times we've omitted this ceremony was like when my husband was so sick, he had gut issues, and so he weren't able to drink tea. It was just not possible for him. Um, but apart from that, we have a timer, all about timers. And so our timer's like 5:30 in the morning. By 6, we're out of bed, maybe by ourselves, maybe like we're tagged along by some of our youngest kids. Usually not though, for a bit. And then, yeah, we kind of set up the tea ceremony. We've got a table that has a spirit head on it that has its own little cup. And then we each have our own little cups. And there's candles that I pour for our relationship throughout the year. And usually we have some incense and I'll put some like nice acoustic music on. And we begin our time together. And so how the structure of this tea ceremony works, we are like influenced highly and strongly by the Gung Fu. That's the style we work with. So we're generally using tea from the Camellia sinensis family, from the tea plant, and thank you. And so our faves are like pu'er and oolongs and white teas. And we start with our first tea in silence. And recently we've been really trying to sync up when we're drinking that cup, which is kind of a fun way of like, we stare into each other's eyes if possible while we're drinking this first cup in silence and trying to kind of finish it at the same time. And then we'll go into, usually the first questions that we start are, how are your dreams and how are you feeling in your body, heart, mind? And then we'll kind of piggyback on each other on those questions. And then we go into more free flow throughout what's alive and needing to be addressed in that tea session together. And it can range from like, it can get super practical. It can get super magical and far out and having like these profound tea talks that we've thought of, like, we should record this and should go live, tea talk time. And then, and some people ask me too, if your parents are like wee ones that are in your care, but what about the kids? And so what I've realized is like, we will have, sometimes our kids will come, sometimes they'll fall asleep. Sometimes I'll be nursing, sometimes, but they are coming into a container that we are defending. And they are seeing that their parents are prioritizing their relationship first thing in the morning. That is so important. I think that a lot of parents have this belief that their kids will never be able to create that space for them. And I don't know the answer to that because I don't know how many parents really try, right? So there isn't much, I don't have much of like, what does it mean to defend a practice to such a degree that your kids actually have to get used to it. They're like, okay, this is a container that's being set. This is not the time that we get a bunch of attention. And they actually sync up in that container. And I might go and get a little snack to bring over quickly. But for the most part, it's a beautiful way of them witnessing their parents prioritizing relationship. And I think that's super healthy. So that's a little bit of what we do. And usually we get almost an hour plus together to have this time together and to become current. And this is really important, I think, in any relationship, is becoming current, so that you're not sitting on so much unaddressed topics, details, conflicts, like unspoken, like whatever that is, actually just keeps getting aired out. And you also get to kind of align your schedules, align what you're doing and creating together in your relationship. And it's so important. I think that it actually builds this capacity to be creators, because a lot of people ask us like, how the hell are you so freaking productive? And I do feel that us syncing up and like establishing this way of like course correcting together and being able to witness each person in the morning with their dreams and aspirations and like what their challenges, like it's this maintenance. It's like not just a relationship maintenance, but a personal maintenance, so that we can continue to show up now for the day and for what we're committing to. Because if you can trust your ability to follow through with your partner, with like a practice, then you can start to trust your ability to take on more in life. And that's really what happens with any practice that I think that we can align ourselves with. So there it is. Thanks for watching. Ciao.